Hello. I wanted to come on and give a little update. I received a diagnosis last week. I have been diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer, and it has metastasized to my lungs. The reason that I wanted to make this video was because last year when I was diagnosed with stage 2 colorectal cancer, I kind of documented my journey, documented how I was dealing with everything, how I walked through it with the Lord. So I just feel called to share this part of the story as well. Definitely thought that my cancer story was going to be all wrapped up and finished at the end of 2024, but there was different plans in place. But yeah, so just to kind of jump right in, if you have not seen any of other of my videos, or if you are new, my name is Calais and I am 29 years old. Last year, I was diagnosed with stage 2 rectal cancer with a grade T3 tumor at the age of 28. I had a clear bill of health before all of this happened. I've never had any health issues. I'm a relatively healthy person. I eat pretty good. I am active. I have 2 young daughters that are 2 and 4 years old. I had very healthy pregnancies. I never had any issues with anything medical up until last year. So this is just crazy that this is happening. From what I've learned over the last year and a half, cancer in young people, especially colorectal cancer, is rising like they've never seen it before. So this is also because I'm filming this also because I want to raise awareness, and I really just want to urge everyone my age, around my age, to be very in tune with your body, listen to your body. And there is no specific group of people that can be affected by cancer anymore. I think that it's becoming so much more common in just regular healthy people. Yeah. So last year, after my diagnosis, I was given a treatment plan. So I did 25 rounds of radiation therapy on my pelvis, alongside of capecitabine chemo pills. And then after that treatment was done, I started a 4.5 month IV chemo process. So I did 9 rounds of IV chemo. I did full Fox. That was intense, but I totally got through it. I know that when people hear about cancer and chemo, it's like, oh my gosh, you are just gonna be absolutely like down and out. There's like all the stuff that they portray in the movies and all that kind of stuff. Definitely was difficult, definitely got sick, definitely, was not well, but I got to have a week break in between my treatments, and I kind of learned how to bounce back from all the medication that they had given me to help ease my symptoms. Once I came out of like my chemo pit, I was like good to go, and I was living a normal life all through, it was September through December was my IV chemo treatment. And I just remember we had both my daughter's birthdays in October. We had an incredible celebration for them, incredible Thanksgiving, great Christmas, just like all the normal life things that I was so afraid of losing out on and missing out on. I was able to participate and just really enjoyed it that much more, because I know that that stuff can't be taken for granted anymore. So yeah, I ended my chemo in December, and I remember we had done some scans before I even ended treatment. It had shown complete radiological response. The tumor that was in my colon, it had completely dissolved. It was gone. It was like, oh my gosh, what a miracle. I didn't have to get surgery, and they said, okay, we will just be on a watch and wait program now. So we are just going to do close observation. We'll do scans and colonoscopy. every 3 months for the first, I think year. And then after that, they were going to go to like a 6-month surveillance schedule. So I remember I was all clear at the end of December. We were so excited. We were rejoicing, so happy, thanking God for, just the incredible outcome of all that hard stuff. And then I think it was, I can't remember exactly, around March, April-ish, I went in for like CT, MRI, and then I had like a routine colonoscopy. And when I went in, I think I had the colonoscopy first, went in for that. They did a biopsy of the same area that my original tumor was at. Everything came back negative. We were so happy, like my margins were clear. My blood tests were coming back, kind of normal, or pretty normal, like within the normal range. And then we got back like my pelvis MRI, and it showed no sign of disease in my colon, which was so fantastic. And then we got back my chest, like my CT. So they did like my whole, like my stomach, my chest, and all of that. And on that CT, a nodule had popped up, a 7mm nodule had popped up on my left lung. And that was new. So that was not there when they had done my scans in December. And I remember opening up that test result, and it had said on there, a 7mm nodule on the lower left lobe, concern for metastasized disease. I opened that up, and I'm like shaking, heart racing. I'm like, what? Like, we have been all cleared. Everything else has been cleared. How is this even possible? The tumor in my colon is gone. How is there a metastasized disease in my lung? Like that, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I thought that when a cancer spread, the cancer in the original place had to be present in order for it to spread. So we're super confused, we're super scared, and I, reached out to my oncologist, and I'm like, what's going on? Is this a cause for concern? What are we gonna do? And she pretty much, just FYI, she is no longer my oncologist. She pretty much told me that's nothing to be worried about. Lots of people have lung nodules. Lots of people that are healthy just have regular lung nodules that could be benign. And she said, let's just, we'll watch and wait, see what it does. We'll do a scan in 3 months and see how it goes. So I got off that phone call, still feeling very confused, feeling like she was kind of just dismissing it. Like she wasn't really like taking it very seriously, because she kept saying like, we did a biopsy of your colon, all your other scans, there's no disease in your body. Like these could just be benign. Like, okay. Got off the phone, called my family, called my aunt, called people to like, kind of talk it out with. And they pretty much were just like, you need to push for a scan sooner. Cannot wait 3 months. A 7mm sized thing popped up within 4 months out of nowhere. If you wait 3 months, it could possibly double in size. And I'm like, oh shoot, okay. I'm getting like, kind of like really like frantic and worried. And so then I messaged my oncologist back, and I said, I'm really concerned. I'd like to do another scan in a month. She told me on the phone that something in your lung, a nodule, cannot be biopsied until it is closer to 10mm in size. She said that the 7mm, too small, they can't do anything about it. Like pretty much like, sorry, you're out of luck, can't do anything, just gotta sit and wait. That was kind of the response I got from her. So she responded to me and said, pretty much I can't order monthly scans, I can't, I can't do something like that. The hospital's not gonna approve it. We're just gonna have to wait. And I then requested a second opinion. For some reason I got circled back to her office. So her office made a phone call appointment with the same oncologist for me. It was just a mess. I'm frantic. I'm like looking for answers. I'm trying to like figure out what's going on, and I'm just getting circled back to the same oncologist. Anyways, that's not like the important part of this story. Well, it kind of is, because you have to advocate for yourself. So I got on the phone with her. She's like, what's the problem? What's going on? I told you we can't order a scan sooner. And I said, I am not asking you for monthly scans. I'm not asking you to order me a chest scan every month. I am asking you to do a chest scan on this specific lung nodule in a month rather than 3 months. I don't want to wait that long. I do not feel good about it. I do not want to wait that long. she's like, all right, I'll see what I can do. I'll try and get you one around a month out. So it was like a little over a month. They called me, scheduled it. What do you know? It grew 2 millimeters in 1 month. So it grew to 9 millimeters. So I was kind of like, okay, can you take me a little bit more seriously? You know, this was all happening, and I had gotten my CEA blood level tests ran. For those of you that don't know what that is, it pretty much can test like a protein in your bloodstream that has to do with certain activity with like lung cancer, colon cancer, certain types of cancers. When cancer is present in your body, it'll be elevated. And my CEA level over the 2-3 month period that I had gotten it checked, it had been increasing. It was still within like normal range, but it had been increasing. So I brought that up to her. I'm like, is that concerning? She's like, no, it's in the normal range. There's nothing to be concerned about. Like, she just was like so not concerned about anything. I'm like, okay, this doesn't sound great. It's growing. This is going up. That kind of leads me to believe, I'm not a doctor, but it leads me to believe that it's cancer. So then what did we do? She told me, okay, it did grow again, so I'm going to refer you to a pulmonology team, because on that result from that chest scan showing that it had grown to 9 millimeters, it said on there some notation saying that the pulmonology team will have to review on an action. Action is required. Like, there has to be some steps to figure out what this is. So it took that to like kind of kick her into gear, my oncologist, to like do something. So she referred me to a pulmonologist. I absolutely love this doctor. She's fantastic. When you find doctors that you love, when you find doctors that will give you answers, when you find doctors that are going to advocate and push for you and listen to you, keep them, find them, and hold on to them. She's fantastic. So she pretty much called me, and she was just kind of talking us through what's going on. And she said, we want to do, with your whole history of everything, there is a concern for cancer. There absolutely is. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a PET scan, and we're going to do a biopsy. So I was like, okay, that's great. A PET scan they pretty much inject like a radioactive tracer into your body through an IV. And then if there's cancerous cells anywhere in your body, it'll kind of light up on the scan to show them there's activity. So we did the PET scan, and it ended up showing there was like mild uptake in my lung. I didn't know what that meant. I had to like beg my oncologist to give me an explanation. All she said was, there's mild uptake, we're going to proceed with a biopsy. I'm still not understanding what any of this means. I'm like, okay, did it light up? I don't know what it means. So then I had a bronchoscopy. I can go into like much more detail of all these things in like a separate video, because that whole process was pretty interesting and like kind of crazy. But pretty much a bronchoscopy is a biopsy done under general anesthesia, and it's like a robotic procedure. So they go in through your mouth, down your airway, into your lung, and then they can like navigate to the site where there's like a nodule or a tumor, and then they take a biopsy of it that way, instead of like going in through your side, going through your ribs, cutting in, like puncturing through your lung, and then getting a biopsy. This is like way less invasive and way more accurate, and like less of a chance of like your lung being collapsed. So it was just like, that's what they said would be the better route. So I went in for that, and that surgeon, he was really fantastic. Really love him. I'm definitely hanging on to him too. He's like part of like my team. But he was very human about the conversation with us. We asked him a ton of questions before the surgery, and I pretty much asked him like, do you think you'll have an idea of like if it looks cancerous or not after you do the biopsy? Like, do I really have to wait for results for you to kind of know what's going on? And he said that when he's in the room, they generally have a good idea of what it is when they look at it under the microscope before they send it off. He said, I can't give you like a definite diagnosis right there, because that's just not how it works. But if you really do want to know, I can kind of give you like what I'm thinking, what I'm leaning towards. And we're like, yeah, please, we just need some answers. Like we're just freaking out. Like, we can't sit and wait any more longer. We've been waiting for like months and months. He's like, all right. So they do it. Everything went smooth. And then I remember I was like waking up, I was super groggy because you go under general anesthesia. And my mom and dad were there, my husband were there, and I just remember like seeing the surgeon kind of walk in, and he's like shaking my husband's hand, and then I like see everybody like crying, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's cancer. Like, I had a feeling it was, just based off of everything that's going on. And so on the drive home, my husband was like, do you remember what he said? Like, not really. I could kind of tell. And he's like, well, he definitely, you know, didn't have good news. He said he wished he had better news, but it most likely, you know, looks cancerous. So we're like, all right. So we were supposed to get the results within that week. My biopsy was on a Monday. We got the results on a Thursday. So on Thursday, my pulmonologist, she called with the results, and she had told me that they came back as positive for cancer cells in my lung. But the thing was, the cancer cells are GI origin. So that means that it is a metastasized cancer that has spread from my GI tract to my lungs. So technically it is a stage 4 diagnosis. There's another name for it. I got a second opinion with another oncologist. I've gotten a new oncologist, thank God. And he really explained everything to us in depth. My cancer history from start to finish to where we are now. He was like really fantastic. So I'm very glad that I found him. But he called it something, he said that it's a very rare case that my cancer has spread somewhere else, but there's not a reoccurrence in my colon. Normally when they see metastasized cancer that's spreading to other distant organs, there's like almost always another like tumor growing in the same general area that it originated from. But he said that there's no recurrence in there. It's just showing up in my lungs. So that gives them the inkling that the chemo and radiation did its job locally to that original tumor, but it did not do its job for the rest of my body. So he believes that we will probably have to do the more intense chemo. This is all like kind of what they're kind of planning and kind of chatting about now. I might do FOLFIRI, so it's another IV chemo drug paired with some other drugs that'll like kind of enhance it. And then they're also talking about radiation. So I actually had an appointment today with my pulmonologist. Whenever you have a cancer diagnosis, they will bring your case to like the tumor board, at least for the hospital that I'm at. That's what they do. So they bring it and they present it in front of different teams of doctors. So yesterday my case was presented in front of the thoracic surgery team and the pulmonology team. So they pretty much came to kind of like a decision for now, which a lot of things can change because of all the different factors, but they want to try and go forward with doing a surgery first. So they would go into my left lung where the bigger nodule is, and they want to do a resection. So pretty much they'll cut out like a triangle of my lung where that nodule is. And then they don't know if they want to start me on chemotherapy before the surgery or while I'm in the hospital for surgery. They just said that with my case, they want to be really, really aggressive with it because of my age and the severity of it and how rare it is. And there's just a lot of things that they just want to like go at it full force. So they're trying to figure out like the best steps. You have to do it in like a certain order for it to be super, what's the word? Do it in a certain order to make sure it has like the best possible outcome. So I have an appointment coming up tomorrow with the thoracic surgeon. He's going to talk to me about details about surgery, pros and cons, just the different things that we have to go over. And then I know my oncologist has to join in as well on like a conversation about as far as like chemo and radiation. So that is what's going on with me. It's a lot of stuff going on. I feel like when you get in like the mindset of you're going to be diagnosed with something or you're having like a health scare or things are just kind of unknown and you're trying to seek an action plan to get yourself better, I think unless you've been through it, I don't think nobody will understand what I'm talking about. But you go into this like kind of like survival mode where I'm not really thinking about anything but trying to figure out an action plan to get from being sick to being healthy. That is like the only thing that's on my mind. I haven't had too much time where I've been sad or scared. I've had moments where I will kind of like, it'll hit me and I'm like, holy moly. Like the day that I got called and was told that it's cancer for sure, we know it is, and it came from your GI tract, which means it's stage 4. That day, I remember I didn't break down when the doctor told me. I broke down when I had to tell my family and my friends, and that was my moment where I broke down and got emotional. That was probably like the first time that I really like let it all out, because I'm just, I'm doing research, I'm reading things. I like to be super prepared for different things that, different outcomes. Listening to other people's stories that are going through this, there's just so many people that are my age, younger, that are going through this, and I just want to be another voice out there. I want to share my story because it is becoming so common, and you can go through a stage 4 diagnosis that I'm learning. I mean, I was just diagnosed, a week ago? It has not even been that long, but I am learning this whole like cancer journey I've been on the last year and a half. It's like everybody's probably going to be affected by cancer some way or another in their lifetime, whether it's a family member or yourself or someone you know of. You're going to be affected by cancer. It's becoming so much more common, unfortunately. And you can go through it and still live a normal life. You can still have joy. You can still have peace. You can still feel normal, not like I have a stage 4 death sentence, because it's not a death sentence. It's not kind of like there's no hope, we're just going to put you on care to keep you alive like for however long, or there's no like, oh, you have this many months to live. Like, of course, every situation in everybody's case is completely different. I'm just saying in general, now with the technology and the advances in healthcare, there's so many things out there that they can do now to give you longevity of life. And all of these, my husband and I keep talking about this because, you're gonna automatically look up online like prognosis statistics and, this and that, just because that's just what we naturally do. We just want to hear or read what are the outcomes of these things when they normally happen. But like all the statistics that we're seeing online, I feel like those are kind of like not outdated, but they're not including in this new generation of like, we're the new statistics that are going on. There are so many people, so many young people. They don't do colonoscopies on anybody normally under the age of 50. You don't go in for a routine checkup and do a colonoscopy and check your GI and your colon and everything until you're like older. That definitely needs to change. I know of, some areas or some hospitals, it's like hard to get approved for colonoscopies if you're having issues. I've seen so many stories of people talking about they're having these symptoms of like bleeding and pain and something's not right, and they're just being brushed off because they're young and they're healthy, but come to find out it's cancer. I think that there just needs to be a lot of things in the medical world that need to change to adapt to this new generation of people that are being diagnosed with this sickness. But another huge thing that I want to be part of my story and I want to share is, through all of this, I could be a complete basket case. I could be just absolutely losing it. I could be letting fear just completely take over everything and just like spiraling out of control, just like anxious every day, freaking out, so scared, so sad, just devastated for my children, devastated for my husband and my parents and my family. I could be like that. And those are all such normal human reactions and emotions. But I have the Lord, I have God. My faith that He has written every single step of my life already is so strong. I know that He has it figured out. He already knows what's going to happen. And by me stressing and having fear and having anxiety over every little thing that is thrown at me in this whole journey, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to get me anywhere. It's not going to make me feel better. It's not going to change my diagnosis. It's not going to change the course of where this is going to take me. It's not. He's in control. I have to have faith. Through suffering, we have to rejoice. It says it all throughout the Bible. We are to rejoice in our sufferings, and we are to praise His name and glorify His name in our sufferings. And, you know, it says in the Bible that my weakness is His strength. If I give Him my weakness and I give Him this torn down version of myself, and I give Him this vulnerable, scared version of myself, and if I give it to Him and I just tell Him, like, your will be done, whatever the plan is for my life, I have faith that you have it figured out, and you are going to do what's good, and you are going to be glorified through this all. He gives me in return this peace, and I've been able to walk through this, and I know that everything is going to be fine, no matter the outcome. I know it's going to be fine, and I know that my family is going to be fine. I know that everybody that is connected to me is going to be fine, and everybody is going to grow in this season. Something that I have really been talking to the Lord with. I pray every day. I do Bible studies every day. I'm in His Word every day. And I'm just having conversations with Him every day. One of the things He's kind of revealed to me, when I was diagnosed last year, I shared a lot about this in some other videos, about my just complete devotion to Him and my complete surrender to Him. But I believe that what He's trying to tell me is the last diagnosis and that last battle that I had with cancer, that was His way of calling out to me. The Lord was calling out to me, trying to get a hold of me, and He really transformed my heart. He transformed it from where I was last April to where I am now. I don't even recognize the person that I am. I've just grown so much. I've learned so much about the character of God's heart and the things that He has in store for us. And I've learned so much about His Spirit and what a fruitful life we can live if we abide in Him. I've just learned so much, and I have transformed. I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm just so on fire for Him, and I'm just so on fire for His Word and just everything. I'm just excited. And I think that this next season of sickness that I'm going to walk through, He has told me that this is for Him to kind of call out on all the people my heart's connected to, all my family, all of my friends, as many people as this story can touch. I think that the reason that I'm going through this is for Him to kind of pop up in people's hearts and soften people's hearts. My husband is one of those. He is. But that is where I'm at right now. I plan to share the story and my journey because I just think that it will do so much good for other people that are watching, other people that are interested, other people that it's possibly affecting as well. You may be walking through a cancer journey. You may have known someone that has walked through. You may know someone that's about to walk through. I just want to be a form of encouragement. I would like to be a source if anybody has questions. But yeah, I appreciate you for watching this long video, and I really just pray that my message touches you in some shape or form. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next update video.